Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am going to share 25 pieces of house guest etiquette. Staying at a family member or friend's house overnight can be an enjoyable experience. It is very generous when they let you spend the night or multiple nights at their home, especially if you are visiting them or you are taking a trip and they decide to let you stop over on the way to your final destination. Lodging at someone's house sounds better than staying in a hotel, right? It can be, but it is important to remember that you are staying at someone else's place and they are likely sacrificing a lot to make this possible. So you must always display good behavior, consideration, and manners. If you are that bad guest, your host may not want to invite you back, and he or she may kick you out altogether. Number one, make sure that you know when you should arrive at your host's place. Confirming with your host when you will arrive is very important. And do not show up any earlier than the time that you and your host agreed to, because your host might have last minute preparations to do for your arrival. Coming prematurely might only stress them out more. Number two, similarly, let them know specifically how long you will be staying and try not to stay longer than 3 days. It is important to discuss this so that your host can arrange their schedule to accommodate you and have everything you need for your stay. There is an interesting saying from Benjamin Franklin, which is guests, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days. It is not that your host hates you, although they could if you continue to take advantage of them and throw off their schedule. But keep in mind that they have their own routine that they wish to return to, and overstaying your welcome will only interfere with their plans and increasingly annoy them. And they may be uncomfortable asking when you plan to leave because they may not want to hurt your feelings, or they might think you'll get upset if they question you about it. Number three, ask your host about the house rules and be sure to follow them. Some people are more lenient when it comes to guests staying at their place, while others are more strict. Everyone has different rules or restrictions, and they can include taking off shoes as soon as you come in, keeping your feet off the furniture, no food or beverages in the living room or bedroom, leaving windows, blinds, or curtains open or closed, leaving the thermostat alone, being in your room or in bed by a certain time. Noise limits, this is a big one. You should always keep the noise level down, especially at night, because your host and their family might want to sleep, and it would be very disrespectful to keep them up, like if you're listening to loud music or playing video games or watching TV. So be courteous and do quiet activities if you plan to stay up late. No smoking, no foul language, leaving toilet seats in a certain position, sorting out trash and recycling a particular way, or sticking to a dress code that your host may have. As much as you may dislike the rules, please remember that it is their house you are staying in, and be grateful that they are allowing you to stay there at all. Number four, make sure you have permission before you bring extra family members, friends, or pets. Do not automatically assume that other people, including your furry friends, can come over. Your host might not have the space for them all, and he or she or other members of their household may be allergic to pets and or do not want any messes like shed fur. If they do not offer to let you bring them, avoid arguing with them about it. Number 5, be sure to communicate any dietary needs or allergies before you come. Like if you have special dietary needs or food or animal allergies, you need to share them with your host in advance so that he or she can try to accommodate you the best they can. Number 6, make sure that you give your host a gift. Once again, your host is sacrificing their time and their place to let you stay over, so it is extremely courteous to bring them a gift, whether it's right when you arrive, sometime during your stay, or as you leave, to show that you are grateful to them for letting you spend the night there. And in my opinion, the gift should be more than a bouquet of flowers or a box of chocolates. Some gift suggestions are a gift card to their local grocery store, favorite restaurant, or other place where they like to shop or go, a small appliance or other gadget that they can use in their kitchen or someplace else, or even treating the host to a meal at a nice restaurant, possibly their favorite, is an excellent gesture. Number 7, do not ask or expect to borrow their vehicle. Assuming you did not drive over, it is incredibly rude to assume that you can use your host car during your stay unless they offered it to you in advance. Instead, plan to provide your own transportation, such as renting your own car, taking an Uber, or utilizing public transportation. Number 8, do not go into off-limits areas of their house without permission. As tempting as it may be, especially if you are naturally curious, and I can tell you I am that way, unless the host consents, do not wander into rooms like their basement, their attic, their garage, and most definitely any of the bedrooms other than the guest room where you are assigned during your stay. Number 9, no snooping. Under no circumstances should you go into your host's private areas or belongings, including their bedrooms, of course, but also any closets, cabinets, cupboards, dressers, or mail. This could embarrass and upset them, and they may lose trust in you. Number 10, ask permission or wait to be offered before you go into your host's fridge or pantry. It is kind of rude to just go into their refrigerator or pantry and look for what there is to eat or drink without their permission or knowledge. Instead, if you are hungry or thirsty, politely ask your host if they have something for you or if you can look for yourself. Number 11, do not use items in their house without their permission. This includes their television, their computer, their video game system, exercise equipment, swimming pool, or hot tub, and be sure to ask them how these things work if they let you use them so that you don't break anything or hurt yourself or others. Number 12, never say anything negative about their place, their pets, their children, or other relatives. Unless you spot a safety hazard like a slippery walkway or unsafe staircase, or if one of their family members is truly mean to you or threatening you, do not say anything bad, such as their house is too small, it is very messy, their children are rude, their dog barks too much, because that can hurt your host's feelings and they may regret inviting you. Keep all negative comments to yourself. Number 13, do not interact with pets or children without their permission. You may be an animal lover and you may want to pet their dog, cat, etc., but check with your host first because some pets may not be comfortable or friendly to strangers, and some owners are particular about how and who handles them. In addition, unless the host consents, do not feed their pets because they may have allergies or otherwise the food you give them, like leftovers especially, may not be safe or healthy for their diet. The same rules apply to children. Do not interact with children unless your host says it's okay because kids may have specific schedules, especially infants and younger, children and might need to be left alone. In addition, do not try to take on the job of babysitting or parenting unless the host requests. Number 14, make sure to help out around the house whenever you can. Offering to help your host during your stay is an absolute must. And your host may even be reluctant to invite you back if you contribute little or nothing. Of course, if they object and insist that they do it themselves, you have to respect that because they may be particular about how they do things. But there is nothing wrong with offering a hand, and even if they decline, your host will probably appreciate that offer. Some things that you should at least offer to do during your stay include setting and clearing the table for meals, washing the dishes, loading or unloading the dishwasher, helping to cook meals, cleaning surfaces such as tables and countertops, prepare coffee if you are up before others, serve drinks during meals, help keep pets and children out of the kitchen while the host is working there, vacuum floors, do your own laundry, take out the trash and recycling, walk their dog if they have one, buy groceries, especially if you are staying for more than a couple days, and pick up and bring in the newspaper or mail. Number 15, spend time with your host. While there may be times when your host wants to do their own thing and you should give them their space, at the same time, you shouldn't be in your room or on their phone all day because your host might think that they are boring you or and you could be boring them, and they may think that you don't even want to be there. Instead, socialize and hang out with your host when he or she is free, and even arrange outings or excursions together if they are willing. Like, for example, if you're in New York City, you could ask if they want to visit the Statue of Liberty, go see a show on Broadway, visit the Empire State Building, visit Central Park, etc. But offer a chip in for any expenses as well. Number 16, treat your host place better than your own. Even if you are not very neat in your own house, you and anyone who comes with you need to treat your host place with top respect. Because how would you feel if you invited someone over and they simply trashed your place? You would definitely be upset, right? So you need to treat your host place better than your own. And things you can do include keeping your own belongings neatly in your own room, using coasters and napkins to reduce the risk of a spill or mess if drinks are allowed, putting things back exactly where you found them, making the bed every time you get up, not allowing children to jump or play on the furniture, asking your host where your children can play without being messy, and cleaning up after yourself. If you do bring children over, make sure that you tell them that they need to be neat, courteous, and respectful of their property. Number 17, always remain neat and practice good hygiene, especially when you use the bathroom. This means cleaning up any messes you make, like urine on the toilet seat, and yes, washing your hands thoroughly when you are done, because it is very unsanitary and definitely rude and inconsiderate of your hosts if you have bad hygiene. Number 18, do not try to hide a mess or other accident. Yes, accidents happen. You might spill coffee on the sofa or knock over and break an expensive item, but you need to tell your host immediately, and if it's a true accident, hopefully he or she will not get upset with you. At the same time, though, it is important to apologize and offer to clean up messes or pay for any damages that occurred. Number 19, report any problems. If the toilet gets clogged, the bathtub overflows, the oven breaks, or the water heater is not producing hot water, let your host know immediately so that it can be fixed. Number 20, bring your own toiletries. You should check with your host first about this, but it might not be a bad idea to bring your own supplies, like toilet paper, towels, soap, and toothpaste so that you don't have to worry about using up theirs. Make sure you remember to take them home as well. Number 21, replenish any supplies that you use up. If you happen to be the one to finish the roll of toilet paper, paper towels, bar soap, shampoo, conditioner, or tissues, it is important to at least ask where more of these items are so you can replenish them, even if you don't need any more. And this also applies to food items like milk, ketchup, or butter. Offer or buy more from the store if necessary, because it is inconsiderate to just leave items empty and for your host to have to replace them. Number 22, do not use all of their hot water. Hot water is not only necessary for you, but for your host and their family as well. It is important to wash up adequately, but limit your showers or baths so that you get thoroughly clean, but that there's enough hot water to go around. Using up all the hot water could anger your host, and they'll have to wait for a shower or take a cold one. Keep in mind that hot water is also necessary for other tasks like laundry and washing dishes. Number 23, be sure to wash the bedding at the end of your stay. On the last day, wash your sheets and make your bed so that it will be ready for the next guest, and that guest could be you at a later time. Number 24, make sure to treat your host's vehicle with extra care and respect. If your host lets you use their car, and that is a big if, make sure you treat it better than your own. Of course, their vehicle is important to them, but also if you are in an accident, the host may be liable for any damages you cause. When using their car, be sure to drive extra carefully, but be sure to go the speed limit. Don't bring food or beverages into the vehicle. Return all radio and climate control settings to how they were before you use their car. Fill up the gas tank completely when you are done, regardless of how little you have driven. And it would also be extra generous to take it through the car wash, although ask your host about this first. And finally, number 25, make sure to thank your host for letting you stay, because your host has been extremely generous to let you stay in their place rather than leaving you to fork over lots of money for a hotel. The least that you could do is thank them by writing a handwritten letter or a card, not merely a phone call, a text, or email. Taking the time to do this will show how truly grateful you are for their hospitality and letting you use their home. This can certainly increase the chances of you and others who come with you getting invited back at a later time. I hope that you learned a lot about displaying good etiquette when staying at a family member or friend's house, and thank you very much for watching. If you have any other etiquette tips, feel free to post them in the comments. Take care now.